All right, so welcome to Rebel TV After Dark. My name is Joe Hines. I am the reluctant spouse. My spouse, Rhonda, we are supposed to do it together, but she's a little under the weather tonight. So I'm going to go at it alone. Hopefully, I keep you guys entertained. All right, so I have two guests here tonight. I have Beth and I have Naomi. All right, and the topic for tonight is how to never lose your momentum when completing your goals. And I'm just going to get right into it and kind of shoot it out there to my two guests and see which one wants to pick up on it. So I'll start with Beth. When you're in the process of setting your goals or going through your steps to where you want to be, what do you do to keep motivated?
Well, for me, I think it starts with knowing what you want to get out of your business, or knowing what you want to achieve. So, as far as the Rebel marketers are concerned, of course, it's a home-based business opportunity where you can earn as little or as much income as you want. So, determining how much you want to earn, and what does that look like aside from a monetary figure. So what does that look like? Does that mean that you're going to be able to quit your job? Does that mean you're going to be able to take more vacations? Are you going to be able to do some upgrades around the house? I think having a clear idea of what you would do with that income, not only the monetary amount that you'd like to reach, but what you would do with that additional income, I think is very important, because it breathes life into your goal and helps keep you excited.
Right, right. Okay. Naomi, do you have anything to add to that?
Just piggybacking on what Beth said, I think it's good to know what your why is, to have your why, to know what, and, Think and Grow Rich says, have your chief aim. So, when things are, kind of get low, or you get discouraged, you can always go back to looking at that. So for me, my why is on my wall. I read it every day to make sure that I can keep myself motivated. That's something that for me, my why is beyond just the business, but what I want to use the resources for, in order to to reach my life goals.
Okay. And you bring up a good point with putting your goal where you could get to it. Like behind me here, we have this dry erase board, and at the top, we'll write down goals, we'll brainstorm and go through some things, and I try to make it a point to, like, every day or two, maybe once a week, I'll come in and I'll throw something inspirational up there, because this is right in front of where she works all the time. So to me, since it's a team effort here, it's like my helping her to keep the goal in mind and set is to be inspirational to the point to where that drives her and keeps that motivation going. So when she's sitting here and she gets lagged or logged down, she can just look up and there it is. So with that, I was also thinking that, have you guys ever set a goal and not set a deadline? Like, you just want something, but you've never put a time frame to it, as far as, well, I want this, but I'll get it whenever. And you don't say I want it within 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. So you start working towards it, but you lose momentum simply because maybe you don't have a time frame to get it. So do you think that might be a hindrance to some people who have all these goals, but they just don't know how to just pinpoint that time frame and how to get started and make markers to where they can come back and check themselves, whether it's every 2 weeks, you set a marker out there, say I want to be here within 2 weeks, or if it's 3 weeks, or every day if you want to do that. What do you think about that?
I'll go, Naomi, if you don't mind.
Hmm.
Okay.
So I guess for me, I typically set my goals in 30-day time periods, but I chunk down my goals so that they're achievable
Hmm.
within 30 days. So what I found is that, with and I think you have to be flexible with the goal setting process and do whatever works for you. Um, but in the past, I've set these lofty goals that I wanted to achieve within 60 or 90 days, and then, you know, 38 days into my journey, I'm nowhere close,
Right.
and I get discouraged and depressed. So what I've started doing is chunking down my bigger goals into 30-day increments. So, I mean, let's say you take weight loss as an example. If there's somebody that's 400 pounds and they want to get down to a healthy weight, they've got a lot of weight to take off, but it's very daunting to think of, well, gee, I've got to take off 200 or 250 pounds depending on, what your height is and your body frame. It's so daunting. So if you think of it in terms of, well, I'll set a 30-day goal to lose 5 pounds or lose 10 pounds, then it becomes a lot less scary.
Hmm.
And I think you can kind of keep motivated that way. That's my philosophy on it. But I think you have to be flexible and play with a process play around with the recommended processes to find something that works best for you.
Well, I know for me, I mean, in the past, I've definitely have set goals and even set a date, but never set smaller goals to attain the bigger goals. So I have like this big goal that I want to, do, and then I never think about how to set like smaller goals to attain the bigger goal that I want
Hmm.
until I got this book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that book, but he talks about like how to set goals and pretty much how to break down that one major goal, like you said, three major goals for the year for yourself, and then how to break those goals down into smaller goals that you set dates on. So that's what I've been doing this year, because I've always had like, oh yeah, I want to attain this goal for this year, but never really looking at what I need to do every single day, because he talks about you look at your goals daily, weekly, and quarterly. So every day you're trying to accomplish something, even if it's like a very small step. It's like every day you accomplish something. Just like with our 8 core commitments, reading for 30 minutes is something small, but it's something we need to do daily. So that's a goal. So that's like a goal you check off, like, wow, today this is what I did. So I'm like looking at how to make sure I make them very small so they're attainable every day to get to the bigger one.
Right. And off of that, I would say that in making them small, it's like for me personally, it's easier for me to not overwork to get to that goal. Meaning, not to try to do too much to accomplish that goal, because it that really stops your momentum, because you'll take off out the starting block and you just full of energy, full of vigor, and within a week, 2 weeks, you run into a dead end because you've done too much trying to reach that goal. So, like you said, if you break it up into increments like that, it's a whole lot easier. And just by telling yourself, well, if I do X amount today, X amount tomorrow, maybe skip a day, give myself a mental break, 2 days later, give me something else. It flows a whole lot easier, and you give yourself time to catch up and regroup while you're in the process, instead of hitting a brick wall and then having to regroup and find yourself either totally quitting or starting back over at square one. So with that, do you kind of Well, I'm gonna go back to me. I also when I do my goals, I like to take the most difficult task that I think is or what I think to be the most difficult task, and I try to do that first. Because for me, if I knock it out first, I know that's not something I'm dreading 30 days out. Like I know it's coming. Let me just tinker around, and then when it gets here, I'm like, well, I really don't feel like doing it now, but I know I got to do it. So for me, I like to just knock out the big stuff first, the most complicated or difficult. So that gives me time to just kind of relax and move on into the rest of my what I have to do.
Yeah, Brian Tracy, if you're familiar with him, he wrote a book about that quite a number of years ago called Eat That Frog. And it was based on that whole premise that if you eat the frog first thing in the morning, that's like the worst part of your day is behind you, and then it frees you up to do all the more fun things throughout the rest of your day, and it just makes it that much easier because you've gotten the worst part over with right away. Which hopefully, like in this business, you know, there's nothing horrible that anybody has to do on a daily basis. Just things that, you know, maybe some people don't feel as comfortable with, like blogging or maybe doing video or that sort of thing. But certainly, this business is way more comfortable for people than, you know, your traditional network marketing or MLM or what have you from years ago.
Yeah. Naomi, you have anything for that?
I mean, I agree with what you guys are saying. It's like it's better to try to do the harder stuff first. But I agree with Beth. It's like with this business is, I mean, I guess for me the hardest part for this business is just the unknown. There's a lot that I don't know, but then that's where the videos and stuff come in. It's just like taking the time out to watch the videos so I can learn more about the business. So that's the only challenge I'm facing is just, I just don't know a lot. So in time, through my studies and stuff, I will know a lot. But and just in general with life, yeah, it's like, do the hard stuff first. So you're not stressing over it the whole day, waiting for, oh yeah, I gotta make sure I take care of this too. It's like get it out the way so you're able to do the smaller stuff that's not so difficult for you in life.
Right, because the like both of you touched on, the business is actually easy. My wife has been doing it she's been doing it for a while longer than I have. I'll put it that way. And I've just pretty much gotten on board. And I've started my blog page and doing some videos and stuff. But the hardest part to me was actually doing the first one. And it wasn't the second video, it wasn't the second blog, it was actually just sitting down and doing it. And once I did the first one, and once I did the first video, then it just starts to come easy. So, like you said, it's the easiest business to do in the world that I've ever seen when it comes to this marketing. Because my wife, she's been in several of them, and I saw the work that she put in before. I mean, it was like, you have to talk to people, you have to call people, you have to steadily go after and chase people. And this one is like, you don't have to chase people, you just do 30 minutes of work, and they come to you. So, and that's the beauty of it. And it's that makes it easier to really set your goals, and because you're not out being caught up with a lot of busy work, so to speak, trying to run and get product and do all this other stuff and spend gas. So I think that makes it a whole lot easier for us to actually focus in on the goals that we set.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying because I mean, of course, I'm sure like most people I've done other type of business similar to this, and one thing I like about this business is you get to connect with people that want to do what you want to do versus, before it was like you make your list and from your list you call your family and friends and try to get them to come out to the meeting on Saturday or the meeting on Tuesday, and it's like, you know, it's a challenge because you're talking to people that really don't understand. But here it's like you get to connect. Like your way of marketing is connecting with people who are interested in making extra money or having their own business or wanting to be an entrepreneur. So it's like you're connected with people who are doing what you want to do, which makes it a lot easier. You know, because now it's just being able to tell them the importance of, you know, what the product is. But I'm like you, like blogging wasn't difficult for me. What was difficult for me was video. The video was a challenge for me, but when I went to Miami, that's what helped. It was like once I did the first video, then that was it. Then it was just like, oh, this is not that difficult. I could do this. But at first it was like hard. I'm like, God, just to get on camera was a challenge for me.
And you get better with practice. You know, like the more videos you do, they'll be more comfortable. You know, you'll come up with more engaging topics. Same thing with blogging. It's like anything. You know, piano, you're learning piano. With this, you're learning how to blog and market. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. But at the end of the day, it's fun. It's a fun business. And Naomi and myself as well, we were talking a little bit about coming from, you know, a background of having tried other home-based businesses in the past. And so, I mean, back in the day when I was first introduced to the whole home-based business idea, we were taught to approach people in the supermarket and at the gas station and so on, and you know, just ask them, hey, you ever look at other ways to make money? And I absolutely hated that. I hated that. And I mean, it would take you years to make any money doing that. And this is so much more fun. And you can reach so many more people with the marketing techniques that we're taught in this business, with the social media tools that we have available and so on. You can reach so many more people with just one blog post or you know, status update on Facebook than you could, you know, going out to get your shopping done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have about 2 more minutes. So in closing, I would ask each of you to give me one tip that for a newbie out there who might be struggling with the whole goal setting thing and momentum and just keeping that drive going. And we'll end it with that. So, Beth, could you go ahead and give me yours?
Sure. I would say find an accountability partner that you check in with once a week, and let them know what your big goals are, as well as what are you going to do this week to get yourself closer to your ultimate goal. And hopefully they, you know, can reciprocate and provide you with what their goal is for the next week. But it keeps you accountable. That's helped me a lot. I'm a part of a mastermind group, so I have 3 accountability partners that I touch base with every week. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay. Naomi?
I totally agree with Beth. Well, today I got my accountability partner today, so we haven't touched bases as far as with the as far as what we need to do and stuff. But I totally agree. You need to have accountability partner. But also, I think, you know, your why needs to be so detailed. It's like, you know, a child. You should be able to explain it to a child, and they should be able to understand what your why is. I think knowing your why and always being able to read what that why is helps you when times get low, when you're not, you know, having the success you want to have in your business. It's like returning back to the whole reason why you even joined the business in the first place. And knowing it, like, you know, like mine's is so detailed, it's like I can visually see it. Like I get all excited every time I read it because I can visually see what my why is, I can actually see the colors and see the tree or see the walls that's in the room. I can visually see it because it's so detail oriented. So I think knowing your why and also the accountability partner is two tips I definitely agree with.
Okay, and I'm gonna piggyback off of you, Naomi, because I'm like you. If you set a goal, you set it for a purpose. So you need to know what that purpose is, keep that purpose in mind, and like I said, if you have to write it on a piece of paper, write it on a dry erase board, put it on a post-it on your windshield wiper, on your windshield, when you're driving down the highway, dashboard, wherever you want to put it, just keep it where you can see it so that every day it's right here. If it's not right here every day or right here every day, there's no purpose behind it. So you got to have purpose behind it in order to be able to push it and drive forward with it. So on that note, we're going to close for this evening. And I thank my two guests, Beth and Naomi.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you.
I thank my wife, even though she's not here. She's been coaching from the sidelines. So, you know, Rhonda, hello. And be sure to join us Monday through Friday for Rebel TV at 3 o'clock Eastern, and every Wednesday for Rebel TV After Dark, which is at 8 o'clock Eastern p.m. And until next time, see you.
Peace.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.